Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Big roster updates again going on around the Valorant world, but also as Sentinels and TenZ settle into their practice regime going into the new season. TenZ has given his thoughts on Sunset, the new map added into the map pool not that long ago. TenZ is not a fan of this one at all, so this is one of the worst things to be added into the game. Does this mean that Sentinels will decide to exclude this from their map pool? Could this be good or bad? What changes are necessary? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. This is a quick teaser on the new agent that's coming into the game, so read into this what you will. It's a duelist, so yeah, this is probably one of the things that he likes to do. Let's talk Rostermania though, because this is actually a really interesting update here from Katsumi. So she's a player in the Game Changer side, and she has made the decision to leave Game Changers and go and actually compete in challenges for an unsigned team. This is kind of incredible for multiple reasons. I massively support Katsumi doing this because, as I said yesterday, Game Changers is, it's a blessing and a curse for the female players that play in GC. They get salaried, and there's tournaments for the female league, and, they can make a good living working in that league. The issue is that the league's level and standard is not where Challenges is, and is certainly not where Tier 1 is. And that causes issues when G2 go to tournaments and have a really hard time because they're not used to playing against that level of competition. And of course, there's another debate to be had on that. So the question is, how do players in Game Changers? Because the idea is, right, I'm sure what Valorant and Riot are intending to do is for Game Changers players to, get into Challengers teams, then get into franchise teams, and then, compete on that level. Doing that is easier said than done because Game Changers players will often just stay in the female league and not get promoted. Challenger teams, Tier 1 teams won't necessarily come and say, okay, yeah, you'd be a good acquisition. Like Mel, for example, has seemingly struggled with this, as we heard in rumours a couple of weeks ago. So the decision that Katsumi's made is to leave Game Changers and compete in challenges. As she says, I've always seen Game Changers as a temporary step, not an end goal. I've maintained through my entire career that if I ever believed I wasn't capable of being a top player outside of GC, I would just quit competing and move on to something else in my life. Over time, I realized that my path to my goals as a competitor might not be as simple as moving directly from a GC team to Challengers, because a lot of Challenger teams don't think that GC teams are up to scratch and therefore just won't sign those players. Maybe there's other reasons involved as well, but getting picked up directly from GC to Challengers or franchising isn't really something that's happened yet. So in order to step forward and step out of her comfort zone, she's going to push herself through into challenges and team with these guys. Jae-sung, you guys probably know Hoyen as well. And then, well, anyway, that's their team. Team name to be determined, unsigned team. So trying to qualify for challenges, which is a really admirable step to take. But what it does mean is that she will be taking no salary, right? She'll be on a free agent team here to try and qualify into challenges through the qualifiers, and then from there take the step further. So definitely hoping it works out for Katsumi, and I hope that other players in Game Changers potentially look to take a similar direction. But it's just a big challenge, right? Because it seems like if you're a Game Changers player and you want to really take the next leap, you probably have to forgo getting the salary and the potential prize money you'd earn in GC to actually say, all right, I'm going to bet on myself here, go and join a Challengers team to try and qualify, and then I can prove my worth more so than is currently done if you're in GC. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. I think the other players might follow Katsumi's lead, but, it's really difficult to do for many players to forgo salary in a guaranteed situation to pursue dreams of competing on a kind of high level, I guess. So intrigued to your thoughts on that one in the comments section below. Also, some tournaments going on yesterday. There was also actually Zekken who said, good luck to Katsumi as a result of this. Tournaments we'll see in a second. MIBR, though, they confirmed their roster yesterday, bringing in Artsan. It's pretty funny, right? The amount of players with, ZIN or ZIN, if you guys are from the States at the end, is pretty entertaining. Their roster's pretty similar to last year. They're bringing in Artsan, they're bringing in Mazin. Of course, Frod as well is joining as, assistant coach formerly of Loud. Pretty funny how just a load of the guys formerly of Loud end up over here. So this is their full roster going into next season. It's, look, it's okay. It's a little bit different to last year's one. Again, I don't think they're going to be doing anything spectacular. Leviathan, as far as I'm concerned, have really stolen the show down there in South America in terms of the roster that they have formed for next season. We'll see how these guys get on over time. Speaking as well of G2 Goes in a couple of minutes ago, the qualifier ended with Footy Sports, as probably expected, dominating Focus in the grand finals here to qualify through. CNED, his first series really, or first proper match really in this team, on the Jet, on the Rays, and was back to pretty much top form. It was a close series though, 14-12, 13-11, and then 13-7 on the final map when, well, Senior 29-14, and we'll get to Sunset here in a second because, yeah, lots of controversy on this map as of late, no doubt. There was also this that was worth mentioning, the Liquid Open 2023 in North America. So, there was some money on the line for this one, just like an online tournament they ran, $12,000 prize pool, and Mid-Phase got the win in the end against Turtle Troop. They came through the losers bracket. These, of course, are the guys in question. So, B-Dog, Moose, these guys getting ready to go for the new challenger side, go down to GMD Nature, so kind of like a TSM looking thing. So yeah, they get the win there. So interesting rosters, just to look at these with Baby Bay here as well, and Corey. That's a really nice team on paper. So there are some good teams, no doubt, going into challengers next year. This might well be one of them. Whether they're signed or not, that's another question. For esports as well, of course, having won that, they qualified through to, which is very exciting indeed, the Red Bull home grounds in Tokyo, coming up right at the start, I think, of November. So these are the teams in attendance. We've got Fennel, we've got Scars, and then we've got some really good rosters. Pretty much the entirety of the Turkish scene is here because you've got Foot Esports and Alpha, who's on Fnatic. So yeah, this is going to be pretty crazy, right? No world champions here. Fnatic, I mean, they were the best team last season for like all of the season until right at the very end. Cloud9 looked good in that recent tournament they played. Zeta are going to be here with whatever their new team is. DRX are going to be here. And then, of course, 100 Thieves with whatever their new roster is going to be. We don't fully know. The current rumor is EU and Boostio rounding out this team, which might be the case. It might not be the case. And we know that 100 Thieves love these pre-season tournaments. I would not be that surprised if 100T turn up here and make finals or win the entire thing. That's just what they tend to like to do, and we know, as of yesterday, that they are practicing their scrims now. I mean, as of today, Monday, the scrims are underway, they're getting ready to go, and they're not going to take a single day off, apparently, between now and when this tournament goes down. So, very exciting for 100 Thieves, and this is a pretty banger tournament, you got to say, right? With Foot Esports qualifying, Fennel and Scars here as well with their rosters, and then Fnatic, of course, they've not broken up. Cloud9, DRX are basically the same as well, Zeta, and then 100 Thieves. That's a nice tournament to see how this ends up going. We probably as well will get some confirmation soon enough on exactly what 100 Thieves are doing, just because James of F is ready to go with the Scrimbucks again, and he basically says, like, yeah, the 100 Thieves roster will be revealed in very due course when they start their practice, which is today. So we'll see what happens as a result of this, but I'm expecting some Scrimbucks to start up soon, because these teams are, well, the teams that are formed are practicing pretty hard, I would imagine. Now, TenZ has been giving some criticism, and I think for good reason, on some of the things in the game, one of which being Deadlock. I know there was talk of the buff recently, right? So lots of people said, well, you know, maybe Deadlock could be viable again, and I thought this is pretty funny from TenZ to get some really nice shots in with the Sheriff, closing out the round, and then when he tries to get the weapon, he can't get through his own, like, you know, barrier thing, which is really frustrating to try to get to the gun, because, like, you know, as he says in the clip, he should be able to manually drop that if he wants to, so it was almost a negative to himself despite having won the round. The other piece, though, is on Sunset, the new map in the game, a map that a lot of players don't seem massively content with, especially TenZ.
For the guns. Oh,
he's walked out market. Bro, this map is so stupid. It's just lurk, constant lurks, constant rotations. This is like probably the worst thing to come to
one enemy remaining.
an FPS game since push Overwatch mode.
Heaven.
Spike down. One enemy remaining.
Oh! And that's why Deadlock is the best character. Wait, no, you can't get the gun! No!
No!
And that's why Deadlock sucks.
Wait, I should be able to drop the wall on Will. That's actually fucked up.
So what do you guys think about this Sunset map? Like, I like the visuals on paper. It's pretty cool. But I don't really know if it's actually playing that well. It's okay. I don't think it's completely terrible. It's designed in a pretty traditional way. But the way that some of the choke points work, I don't think is ideal. And the CT side especially, I mean, it is just constant rotations, as TenZ is saying. Because in mid, like, mid doesn't connect to A in kind of maybe a traditional way. Like the mid courtyard, you have to go back and then through, which means that this alleyway here is just, you know, it's kind of constant rotations between where those guys are, which, you know, I don't think it plays terribly, but it's definitely not optimal. I know that many of the pros would look to make some changes. Of course, TenZ was over at the ramp here coming up towards A, which is, yeah, it's a tricky spot to hold from, but it's a massively important spot to hold from as well because, you know, well, it's difficult to get up there, and once you get through, then you can wrap around the A site through elbow. I do just find it interesting the way that Riot handle these, right? Because let's say in Counter-Strike or anything, the map won't go into the professional pool until it's ready, and that can take a long time to happen. Usually maps are still changed while they're in the competitive pool in Counter-Strike, but typically they don't just get added in immediately, right? Riot's come up with a new map like Sunset, and they just throw it into the map pool, which means that the players play it, and at some point, changes are made, such as we see with Breeze and others. You know, the map usually comes out of the box playable, but maybe not great. And then there's a decision as to, well, do we need serious map changes here? Is the map simply not viable at all? And at least by throwing it into the pool, you get your answer there, right? Relatively quickly, you get to know what should or should not be the case. But TenZ does not seem so happy with this map, doesn't really like the way that it plays, probably on either side. So yeah, do you guys agree? And also, what does this mean for what Sentinels would decide to do? Because, you know, teams that get good at the new map in the map pool, it is an advantage being good at these maps that come in, because then if other teams want to ban them, you can push the map set in your direction if they're scared playing you on that map. If you have an auto ban in these series, get rid of Sunset every time, then it does leave you a bit more vulnerable elsewhere. Not a massive deal, but still something that these teams will have to think about, what that means especially for tournament and match play. So yeah, maybe TenZ is in favour of getting it gone. Maybe the rest of Sentinels is, you know, the guys on that team actually quite like this map. I guess only time will tell what they decide to do when the season begins. But yeah, it could be an issue for Sentinels if they don't like this map, because I don't think Riot are going to get rid of it. But then again, there's a good argument to say that changes might be necessary and might well happen at some point in the future. There has been this as well, which is pretty interesting. So a $10,000 Sunset only tournament happening at the end of this month. So just for the players to get some good practice in here, these are all the teams. 10k prize pool, October 30th, 31st, the Sunset Coliseum. So yeah, I mean, a lot of players are probably saying, oh damn, like we've got to play this map, but some players actually like it. TenZ maybe is not that much of a fan, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.